Hmm. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Who does not know this mantra or the set of three mantras, three mantra lines? I am sure everybody watching this knows or has heard this mantra, which is so well known, so popular. But not everybody knows that more than Asatoma Sadgamaya, more than Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, it is the third line, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, that is highlighted by the mantras of the Upanishad itself, let alone Vashyakara Sri Shankaracharya says something about it. The mantra itself, as we shall show, says, declares that essentially it is one line, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, which is meant by the first and second line too. Of the three lines, it is the third line which is what is meant by all the three lines. A lot of people imagine that lead me from false to true or falsehood to truth is the main message. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in the very first chapter, in the third Brahmana, in the 28th mantra, says, it is Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, which is the main message. And going from falsehood to truth or going from darkness to light are two other ways in which the journey from death to immortality is indicated. So we are going to see how this mantra of the Shukla Yajurveda's Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is to be understood. Let me open a simple slide or a bunch of slides, I must say, for this purpose. Here we go. Okay. So we have titled this Going from Death to Immortality. Why is this journey from death to immortality highlighted so much? From the lofty vision of the rishis, our so-called living is hardly any living. When I was in high school, we had a one-act play by some famous English author, and in that play there was a statement, the brave die but once, which implies cowards die every day. Cowardly people die many times every day. But the brave, the courageous die but once. That goes well with the spirit of the Upanishads, for what we regard as living, if you scratch the surface, is more dying than living. What do we mean? This looks like a mystical language. This looks like a cryptic way of putting things. let me open the secret. What is meant by saying our living is no living is that we actually make so many compromises. Therefore, the great sage of Arunachala, Sri Ramana Maharshi, said, whenever you celebrate your birthday, you actually ought to mourn, not celebrate. You got to mourn your birthday. Very strange way to say. Everybody declares, oh, today is my happy birthday, and so on. Maharshi says, today is one more day, one more year has passed, so to say, since you got into this body identification. You must say, oh my, one more year has passed, and still I live in attachment to this body, which is not me. Perhaps, that's how Vedantis sometimes interpret the Christian concept of sin. So I say, perhaps what Jesus meant by everyone is born with sin and Jesus frees them or saves them from sin could be moment we are born, within a few seconds, I guess, we are strongly identified with the body. How we look, how we move, how we are about doing things, how fast we are, how smart we are. By body is meant the whole personality, our intellectual abilities, our emotional abilities, emotional skills, how we speak, how we sing. A whole lot is taken, and alas, we, in the light of all those skills and shortcomings, constantly label ourselves. I am good here but bad there. I won here but I lost there. People praised me here but they made mockery of me there. Go on and on. Our spirits go up and down, rise and fall, umpteen times in a single day. Speakers like me give a talk in some hall with some 100 or 200 audience, or more or maybe less. And if all of them say, you gave a wonderful lecture, oh, my heart leaps in joy. And most of them say nothing at all and with a very sad face, without saying anything, hesitant to speak the truth, simply leave the hall. The speaker in me feels so depressed. What happened? Oh my, I did not speak well today. Nobody seems to appreciate. Tomorrow, one more lecture I have, and I'm not sure even where 10% of this crowd comes again or not. We are so dependent on these rewards and punishment, praise and insult. No wonder Sri Krishna emphatically says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mahaphaleshu kadachana. May you not be attached to fruits. Focus on giving the best. And let the best come from, not out of some pretension, let the best come from you out of a certain unconditional. What came to my mind? Wait a minute. Ah, the relevant quote is this: hierarchy in spiritual organizations, hierarchy in religious organizations. He says, hierarchy in spirituality is a contradiction in terms. What do you mean by contradiction in terms? Maybe it is something like somebody said loudly to a group of visitors, I am dumb. I cannot speak. What is he doing now? He is saying, I am dumb. He is speaking. In Sanskrit, they call it Vadato Vyagata. Vadato means as he is speaking. Vyagata means there is a contradiction because he is saying, I cannot speak. If I say to a group of people, ನನಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ, which means I cannot speak Kannada, and I'm saying it very good Kannada. Then, so in that sense, social, rather hierarchy, somebody is a pope, somebody is a bishop, another is a cardinal, somebody else is a just father, and all these women, they are just nuns at the most, sister mother or somebody. So in Hinduism, in Christianity, in Islam, everywhere there are hierarchies. Hinduism these days is criticized by Hindus themselves for casteism. And many scholars have ruthlessly pointed out that casteism exists in all religions. In all religions, you get closer, there are certain groups which are considered higher, certain other groups considered lower. And in India, there is a very strange community called scheduled caste Christians. Once you have become a Christian, you are supposed to have no barriers. All Christians are one. They're supposed to. But no, if before conversion or before your parents converted, you were scheduled caste or lower caste in the Hindu community, you carry it on. And other Christians may not want to have marriage with the girl or boy of your family. That's what. If you think about J. Krishnamurti's observations and you really with wide open eyes see what's going on in the society, you will be horrified. You will see the truth. Hierarchy in spirituality is a contradiction in terms. For true spirituality says all are equal. Functionally, yes, you may play a certain role, but even an iota of superiority gets into your head, your spirituality has gone out of you. That's what he means. Now, coming back to Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, as we would say now in the next slide, this mantra, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, is a mantra from Shukla Yajurveda's Upanishad, very huge one, Brihat Aranyaka Upanishad. Brihat because it is huge, Aranyaka because Rana means conflict, Rana is war. Ranavir, Ranadhir, Rananiti. Rana means battle. You and I live in battle. You and I live in constant conflict. We are torn apart from what society wants us to be, what we actually are. Or sometimes what one part of our mind wants us to be and what another part of mind declares we actually are. I reject myself. I am not happy at myself. I live in shame. I live in pride. I live in self rejection and sometimes unnecessary self glorification. All that is conflict. Rana. And Aranya means where there is no conflict. This is the meaning Swami Akhandananda Saraswati gave, the great, wonderful Vedanta scholar from Vrindavan. Aranya. Brahat Aranya, Brahadaranyaka Upanishad. So we see the mantra is a long mantra actually. This Asatoma Sadgamaya and Mrityoma Amritam Gayam, those three lines put in bold letters here, is just 20% of the 28th mantra. Pradaharanyaka Upanishad 1328, the number we have given here. I have trimmed and shown only part of it for simplicity. So as we said already, as we remarked already, drawing from the mantra itself, further supported by Shankara Bhashya, in the 3 lines, the message is only one, which is put in extra bold, larger letters. Mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Here ma means mom, me, lead me. For asmad shabda in Dvitiya Vibhakti, Ekavachana, is either mam or ma. Ma is an alternative form of mam. Somewhere else, ma gacha, ma piba. There ma is another word. It means don't drink, don't go. Ma gaya, don't sing. Ma uttishtam, don't stand. Ma upavisha, don't sit. That is all ma means don't there. But here, ma doesn't mean don't. Ma means me. O Lord, O Almighty, O the divine power which is in all, which doesn't discriminate between A and B, which is impartial, which is equal to all. O compassionate one, lead me. Literally, the first line says Asat, from the false to Sat, to the true. Second line means from Tamas, darkness, to Jyoti, light. And the third one says from death, Mrityu, to Amrita, immortality. Apparently, the context of this mantra, as the Upanishad itself says, there are lots of mantras scattered across the Upanishads, across the mighty, voluminous Vedas. Some of them are meant for karma, some of them are meant for upasana, and one kind of upasana is japa. So some of them, like this one, is meant for japa. And especially in certain rituals, there is a certain role to be played by one of the priests. He is called prastota. Just as in a cricket team, somebody is a bowler, somebody is a batsman, somebody is a fielder, somebody is an umpire, somebody is a wicket keeper, somebody is a captain. So there are in every game, well, all are players in one particular team. So they give certain names. Like that, when a ritual is conducted, one of them, it seems, plays the role of a prastota. Literally, it means one who sings the praise of some god, probably. Sama prastauti, he sings the Sama mantras. Sayatra prastuyat, whenever he sings the Sama mantras in praise of gods, tad at that time, etani japet. Etani means these 3 lines or these words. Asatoma sadgama iti japet. Japam kuryat. He should do japa. So japa means repeated utterance. Utter it, mutter it, say it loudly or softly or in your mind. Manasa japa. Japa is considered a time-tested, powerful practice to bring our mind to a certain degree of control, to purify. The word pavamana on the top line means purifying. Pavanaha pavatamasmi, says Sri Krishna in Vibhuti Yoga, in Gita. Of all those which purify you, purify this place, purify anybody. Pavatam, same as pavamananam. Pavatam is parasmaipadi, pavamananam is atmanepadi. So there are 2 grammatical forms. Pu punati takes. Pu punati means to purify. The word pavitra comes from that only. Pavamananam abhyaroha. I'll show later what Shankaracharya says about abhyaroha. For now, let us take it as ascent, rising, going up. We got to rise above death. We got to rise above living in compromise and conflict. We got to rise above all kinds of ourselves, making ourselves small because of false thinking. We must know our majesty, our magnificence, our purity, our freedom. We must know we are also a spark of that God, as this king is, as that Oscar winner is, as that Olympics winner is, as that Padma Shri is. We are also no less. We must continuously, not that we make a show of it, but we must continuously know. Bollywood made a movie of it. Hum kisi se kam nahi. That is also Vedanta. Atma ham. I am the pure Atma. And as the pure self, Satchit Ananda, I am no less than anybody. Hum kisi se kam nahi. I am not less than anybody. And don't go and trumpet it everywhere. But know in your heart, there is no reason for you to feel helpless, hopeless, some kind of despicable creature. Oh, what a messed up life mine is. Drop it this moment. Put your chest up and walk the right path now. Nishevate prashastani ninditani na sevate anastikaha shraddadanaha etat pandita lakshanam, says Vidura in Vidura Niti. No matter how you lived so far, Nishevate prashastani. This moment onwards, do things which are praiseworthy, good things. Do good now. Nasevate ninditani. Ninditani nasevate. Don't do again some silly things, some foolish things. Don't do wrong things. Don't do things of which you feel ashamed next moment. Do things by which your own self-esteem rises. So, Pavamanana, there are mantras which purify us. And through them we rise. Aroha itself means arohana, rising. Savai khalu prastauta prastauta sama prastauti sayatra prastuyat etan mantran japet. Etesha mantranam japam kuryat. Now we see the mantra itself. We have not yet entered the Bhashya. Just another slide and we are going to get into Bhashya. Selected lines again. The Upanishad mantra itself says, Sayadaha asatoma sadgamaya iti. The 28th mantra itself says. In this mantra we have asatoma sadgamaya sayat aha. What was said like that? Actually what it means is mrityorma mritam gamaya. You may say, yeah, but that is coming as the third line. Yeah, we know. But the first line also means the third line. The third line is what is said in all the three lines. Why? Mrityurvai asat. After all, what is falsehood? Death is falsehood. You never die. You never die. You never shrink. You never become a coward actually. Cowardice and cowardly acts, cowardly thoughts, cowardly behavior are all in the domain of avidya. Even when the rope appeared as snake to thousands of people walking by that path, the rope never became the snake even for a moment. Mrityurvai asat. So in 100 ways we die, I already said. Every day we die. When we tell a lie, we die. When we do some adharma, we die. When we deceive somebody, we die. We are unkind to somebody when we are unnecessarily harsh towards somebody. Or we are deceptively soft to somebody to get some favor from her. So all deceit, all pretense, all objectionable behavior, this is all death. And all that is false. False meaning They don't belong to us. What we are and how we behave are at variance. A king's son, the prince, drank something and got into such a delusion, walked away from the palace, and after some time they found him begging in some bazaar. Then the ministers, prime minister together all went and brought him back, gave him some medicine, and then he came out of his intoxication and his confusion and delusion. Once somebody asked Swami Chinmayananji when he was giving lectures in Siddhbari, a spiritual person, suppose, does things that are rather shameful. Uh, what does it matter? How does it matter? What will be the impact on him? Does he lose anything? Rather than saying, oh, if a spiritual person behaves in a shameless, shameful manner, the society will no more respect him, etc. He didn't say that. Gurudev Chinmayananda replied, if a spiritually well-informed person, spiritually educated person behaves in a shameful way, that means compromises with values, tells lies, or begs somebody for a little two pennies, etc., the respect that he has for himself becomes less. I was in the audience and I was really stunned by that answer. It's like on another occasion, not in Siddhbari, another occasion addressing maybe 5,000 people in a huge field in Bangalore or maybe Chennai. Swamiji asked the audience, what is the opposite of love? He used to roar like that. Some people tried to answer, but for a 5,000 strong crowd, the audience to answer is not a very practical affair. Some voices were heard, but many of us could not hear what people were saying. But Swamiji himself replied, the opposite, the antonym of love is not hatred. The antonym, the opposite of love is fear. When there is no love, there is fear. When there is true love, there is no fear. You love somebody, then it's like the other person is not other really. The other person and you, whether it's father and son, husband and wife, whatever. The other person is you. You are the other person. Why fear? But when there is no love, always you are afraid. Outwardly on the surface you say, I love him, I love him, I love her. But inwardly you are worried. Will he leave me? Will she walk away from me? Did what I say upset her? Will she stop talking to me from tomorrow? Fear. So coming back, Swamiji said, if you compromise with the values in your bosom which you teach everybody in the town, then leave alone society respecting you or not respecting you. You will not respect yourself. You will live in self-rejection. That is death. And all this is asat. Because the truth of your existence is you are pure Sat Chit, lovable, loving, and all values are in you. You are a repository of your noblest values. Therefore, when it is said, lead me from Asat to Sat, there is no other Asat than this death, dying many times in a day, living in compromise. That is Asat. Let me go. Please lead me to Sat. Lead me to a higher consciousness, truly cherish. If somebody were to ask your advice, you say one thing. But in your own personal life, especially when nobody is watching, you do something else. That is mrityu. That is darkness. If you are in darkness, you behave like that. If you are illumined, therefore enlightened people are called illumined beings. Illumined beings don't live in compromise. Mrityuhu eva tamaha jyotihi eva amritam, or amritam eva jyoti. So it is again, second one also is going from mrityu to amrita. What is the third line in the selected portion of that single mantra? The single mantra is very long. The selected portion is just 3 lines in that single mantra. First line was asatoma sadgamaya. Second line was tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Third line is mrityorma amritam gamaya. Here, there is no need to say, here mrityu means mrityu. If mrityu means mrityu, why do I have to say? Therefore, the mantra itself says, Upanishad itself says, iti na atra tirohitam. Tirohitam means hidden. There is no hidden meaning here. Death is called death, and immortality is called immortality. Period. Whereas in Asatoma Sadgamaya, death was called Asat, and Sat was rather Amrutatva was called Sat. In Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, death was called Tamas. So what is implied is Mrityu, but it was called Tamas. And Amrutatva was called Jyoti. But here no such. There is a man called Ram, and you at home you call him Sham. Then you have to clarify. Now we call our second son Sham, and he's the same whom you call Ram at the school. Ram itself is Sham. Oh, I see. So what you call Ram is someplace Sham. So you have to clarify. But whether at home or at school or anywhere else, the boy is called Ram only. No Sham comes anywhere. Na atra tirohitam. Tirodhana is covering or disappearing, something being hidden. Avirbhava is manifesting. Tirobhava is going into hiding. In the last slide, we see Shankara's commentary. The words here in the fourth and last slide talks about how japa is a powerful practice to internalize the insight that you are the pure self, to internalize it deeply. You hear Vedanta lectures and you are inspired, but you forget it very soon. Whereas to internalize it, do japa of this mantra. Prana vijnanavataha japa karma viditsyate. There is a certain prana vijnana, science of the hidden inner energies mentioned earlier in this Brahadaranyaka. And someone who has gained that knowledge is advised. Viditsyate means that is instructed to him. It is sought to be instructed. What? Japa karma. A certain japa, repetition of a sacred mantra. The mantra begins with atha. Atha means anantaram. Yasmacha evam vidusha prayujyamanam devabhavaya abhyaroha phalam japa karma. The abhyaroha is in the mantra itself, rising, climbing, going upward. For what? Towards what? Deva bhavaya. You are a manushya, but really you are much more than manushya, but you don't know. So from your manushya bhava, you want to rise to deva bhava. You want to discover the God in yourself. You want to discover the divine in yourself. You have unbelievable capacity for walking the path of dharma, to bear with hardship, to be creative, to work sincerely, to work hard. to walk an extra mile towards noble causes, to share your wealth, your knowledge, your resources with people. Joy shared is joy doubled. You live that. All to do that, you must become Deva. Manushya bhavat, Deva bhavam prati, Deva bhavam prati, arohanam, abhyaroha phalam japa karma. Certain japa, the phala of which is abhyaroha, atah tasmat tad vidhiyate iha. Therefore it is instructed, it is advised. Punaha kala sankocham karoti. The mantra from the Upanishad, as Shankaracharya calls it, Kala Sankocha says, while generally, yeah, you may do the japa anytime, Kala Sankocha is mentioning a specific window of time. This practice is especially done during certain ritual where the role, role holder called Prastota recites some Sama mantras. Saprastota yatra yasmin kale Sama Prastuyat, when he recites the Sama mantras, Prastuyat, I called it praising, but pra upasarga with stu also means uh, introducing. Prastavana, Prastuti, we have that in many other Indian languages too. Stuti is praise, but Prastuti is an introduction, preface, Prastavana. You begin a topic. Then later you go into great details, but initially you say a few words. I have come to talk to you. You see, I have come to talk to you about this matter. You say a few words. That is prastavana. Saprastota yatra yasmin kale sama prastoyat prarabheta prarambam kuryat tasmin kale etani japet. Asya japa karmana akhya abhyaroha iti. There's a name for this particular japa. It is called abhyaroha japa. What a beautiful name. Because Abhyaroha is ascent, ascending, going above. Well, just Aroha would have been enough. Why this Abhi? Abhi means Abhimukyena. You want to rise to the glory of Indra, you visualize Indra and do this japa. The common human soul in you rises to the divine soul of Indra or Varuna or Tarksha or Vayu or Agni. There are many devatas. Or in Advaita Vedanta, it extends to the ultimate God form also. I mean, you don't become the creator, Brahma, sustainer Vishnu, and destroyer Shiva, but the essential dimension of theirs, ever free, unconditionally and purely free, totally free, absolutely free. So visualize Shiva. Abhi means Abhimukyena. Behold Shiva in front of you through your mental eyes and thinking of Lord Shiva, say Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, Om. Maybe with Shanti, 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 fine. So, Abhimukyena, behold where you want to reach through a powerful visualization and Arohana. Then rise, you will rise. Do not underestimate the hidden powers in your own mind. To tap those powers, use mantra japa. Japa karmana evam vid. One who knows prana vijnana especially, evam vid. One who knows this, deva bhavam atmanam iti abhyaroha. Shankaracharya makes this comment. The Upanishad mantra itself is pretty powerful, and Shankara's words, as though add wings, give the words wings to fly. Therefore, let me say, Reading just the Upanishad mantras itself is a powerful spiritual exercise. Read selected lines of Shankara's commentary in original Sanskrit or in translation in a language of your choice. You will find something inside you resonates with the truths conveyed by Vedanta in the Mula Mantras, in the Bhashya. And as your heart resonates with the insights of the Upanishads, nothing else can happen than deep inner transformation. You will be different. You will be different. Champions of bhakti like Ananda Mahima often said, as you think more and more of God, the joy that you experience in God, the happiness, the relaxation, the sense of feeling very assured when you think of God, makes you let go of your worldliness, your worries, your desires, your jealousies, your fear. You'll let go all of them, sometimes without even your knowing. You are enjoying contemplation on God, and after some days, suddenly you say, hey, how come last 3 days I did not worry about my financial troubles? How come last 5 days I did not think about somebody to whom I was so attached and she has not spoken to me? He did not write a single email to me or WhatsApp message. I used to worry about such things, but last 5 days I did not. Oh my, what happened to me? You held on to God. Nothing else needs to be done. If you hold on to God without your knowledge, you let go of worldly attachments as well as worldly enmities, worldly disharmony, worldly discord, worldly friction, call it as you may, all of them disappear without your knowledge. Therefore, Bhakti Marga or Jnana Marga, hold on to the higher. To make it possible, read selected lines, read chosen lines of the Upanishads, of the Gita, maybe some one line, two line, simple translation if your Sanskrit is a little weak. For those among you whose Sanskrit is pretty good, just the Sanskrit lines. Like in Gita, you have Uddared Atman Atmanam. If you know Sanskrit, just take that line. Otherwise, in English, let us say, we must lift ourselves by ourselves. In many tricky and challenging situations, even as your spirits go down, that line comes up. I must not let myself down. I must, at such times, I must lift myself because I am my best friend. And if I don't behave maturely, I become my own worst enemy. Atmaiva bandhuratmanaha, Atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Jai Shri Krishna. Namah Paramarashibhyo, Namah Paramarashibhyaha. Many have said Pranam and Namaskar and Hari Om. Hari Om to every one of you. This evening in India, I did the class from some sort of a guest house, some 5 miles away from the ashram that will be inaugurated in the middle of this month. Since that ashram is almost ready, but a little finer, last finishing touches, some of us are staying a few miles away, but daily going there and overseeing the progress of work. So very soon, all of you should visit in second half of January or February or March. Please come visit Dana Shakti Ashram in a village called Vave, taluk called Sudhagad, district called Raigad, and the state of Maharashtra, some 3 hours from Mumbai. Now you have a new airport in Mumbai, NMI, Navi Mumbai International. From there, the distance is about an hour less actually. That has become operational. Flights are going to many places in the country, maybe one or two abroad also, I don't know. But domestic flights are operational from NMI, Navi Mumbai Airport. Bombay is the first city in the country to have two airports. You see, one city having two airports. Goa has two airports, but Goa is the state. City having two airports, Mumbai leads first one. Okay, no other questions or comments. Well-known mantra, but I hope all of you saw some beautiful dimensions of the mantra which you perhaps had not seen before. Hari Om, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.